increasing credit tightening. Post-Royal Commission, banks are tightening up. We're seeing more and more tightening. We're expecting more and more tightening. And you just wrote that blog about one of the Royal Commission recommendations being about small business not being just $3 million total lending, but being $5 million per loan or 100 employees. Show me a business that has 95 employees that's a small business.
Totally.
But the need for clients to get professional advice now when raising capital, whether it's just plain vanilla debt through banks or it's seeking alternative debt structures or debt equity hybrids, it's really, the world's changing, right?
Yeah, and look, I think there's really two things there. The one is how long it now takes to go from the point of application to actually getting approval, hopefully. That time frame's definitely stretching out. So I guess from a small business perspective, if you're already doing 100 things, can you afford to be doing 101? Have you really got the time to be doing that? And really the second thing is, once you've got it, is it actually the right structure? Is it the right fit? Because anyone can solve for tomorrow, but really what we're about is, solving for next week and beyond, next year. So I think that's really critical. There's always an opportunity cost. If you're going to go out and do this stuff yourself, what other opportunities are you missing out on by spending your time doing something that really we've got the expertise and the time to do?
Yeah. And Mark touched on earlier in terms of the credit tightening. Certainly STAC Capital was founded off the back of the credit tightening occurring and the fact that clients need some advice and some assistance when talking to the banks on their funding arrangements. We've seen it from our side. Certainly you've been in the banks the last couple of years in credit. What have you seen there? Yeah,
well, I think, Dale, there's no doubt that the whole industry's moved more to a compliance focus. We're seeing that every day. We hear stories about that every day, not just here at STAC, but in the media. So that in itself has a time impost on clients. So, that's a really big play in the market, that whole compliance piece, knowing what you have to give to the bank and when you need to give it. Is probably the biggest change that we've seen. Beyond that, I think most of the major funders have been changing their appetite. So it's often difficult to know what's going to get approved today as opposed to what was approved yesterday. So that's really flexible. So again, being on top of that across the whole industry is difficult. But again, particularly if you're a small business owner. So they're probably the key things, the compliance issues, and then just understanding who's lending money on what terms and conditions at any point in time.
And how often are we seeing that recently, where goalposts are getting moved? A number of clients that are clients now have become so because they were loyal to their bank, and then at the 11th hour, what had been promised for 3 or 4 months before the transaction, all of a sudden carpet gets pulled out from underneath them and deals change and changed materially to the point of, well, can I do this deal? I mean, sometimes even funding's completely pulled.